as long as it's,
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't see it. I will look again.
It's 7 PM on Tuesday, February 17th, and I call this regular city council meeting to order. And I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Would you please join me in the flag salute, and Councilmember Turnus will be leading us today.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and for the record, Councilmember Cedar is absent this evening, and Councilmember Roberts would like everyone to know that he's going to be about 15 minutes late this evening, but he will be here. Can I get a motion to excuse Councilmember Cedar?
Motion to excuse Councilmember Cedar.
It's been moved and seconded to excuse Councilmember Cedar. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Also, staff present this evening. I see Planning Manager Stallnecker, Police Chief Hernandez, Public Works Director Madden, and Interim Finance Director Robeck is here. All right, the next item on the agenda is citizen participation. Only the purpose of the public comment period at this meeting is for those wishing to address the council on any matter. It is not intended for debate and discussion with the public. Please state your name and city for the record. Lastly, we kindly remind you to limit your comments to 3 minutes. In one moment while we grab our list.
Just one.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we have one person signed up today, Frank Carucci.
Thank you. My name is Frank Carucci. I live up on 23rd. And first of all, I want to say thank you very much. They went up there and they filled that hole in down on the end of the 300 block where people were running into that guy's front yard. And they painted a line in there, which seems to have done a pretty good job of keeping people away from that particular part of the property. So good job. And also, I've seen a bit of an increased police presence sitting over there on the other side of Alder Street, waiting for numerous people running that stop sign and speeding down that street. So thank you very much for that police presence there. I really appreciate that. It helps everybody. I wanted to say again, I'm always going to say this, I want that street to be one way going north. I want want the city to save their money, give us our land, don't take anything away, put the sidewalk in, I'm good with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think if they probably have an easement there where they can use that land to put that sidewalk, curb, and gutter in, they don't have to pay anybody anything. You save $100 grand right there. And one of the other things I want to say is this appraisal that we're all been given that live along that side of the 23rd on the east side, that they want to do the sidewalk partial taking, which doesn't say anything about putting in another lane, but that's what they want to do. I'm not happy with that. So it says here, partial taking of the land for the purpose of constructing a sideway along 23rd Avenue, period. That's the end of it. Down here, just a little lower, it says extraordinary assumptions. And the last sentence in there, it is an extraordinary assumption of this appraisal that the information is accurate and was not misrepresented. I contend that we actually were misrepresented because they want to widen that thing and they want to bring more traffic in. I just sat for 5 or 6 minutes on 23rd trying to get on Milton Way because of all the traffic that's going down there. They've already put cameras in on that street, speed cameras, and there's a greater police presence up there, I know that, so that they can catch people because it's just a thoroughfare. Well, the second thoroughfare is 23rd Ave, right by my house. And now they want to add another lane and bring more traffic in there. So, thank you very much for letting me speak tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Carucci was the only person that was signed up on the list. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to the council this evening? Seeing none, we will move on to item number 4, additions and deletions. And I will be adding a 10-minute presentation from Easy Fiber, although is the...
They have not arrived yet.
They've not arrived yet? Okay. All right. We can move it at the end. Should we just make it item F? 6F? Okay. Okay. Are there any requested additions or deletions from council? Seeing none. We move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone want to pull an item off the consent agenda for discussion? Seeing none, may I have a motion to accept the consent agenda, please?
Motion to accept agenda?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. All right, now on to the regular agenda. Item 6A is the CERB grant, Resolution 26-1993. It's an action item. It's on page 17. And looks like Planning Manager Stallnecker will be presenting this item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So before you tonight is a resolution that would be a commitment letter for a CERB grant. CERB is, sorry, I was going to find exactly what it is. It's the Community Economic Revitalization Board, which is a kind of a sub-board under the Department of Commerce. So a little background for everybody. The city's comprehensive plan, which was adopted in January of 2024 after several years of outreach, and it was the major update that's required by the Growth Management Act in the state. 3 West Milton subareas. One is Uptown, which is along Meridian, the kind of downtown, which is where the park is and everything. And then we had the area along Highway 99, we had identified as the West Milton sub-area. Part of that is at the time that we did the comprehensive plan, all the other areas we looked at, we sort of revised some of the zoning areas. But in these areas, there's basically when that area was annexed into the Milton, it really hasn't had a lot of focus by the city or the community. And so this is an area that is a mix of commercial, light industrial, residential uses, wetlands, West Hylobus Creek. There's a trailer park and an RV park that have kind of permanent low-income housing. There's inadequate infrastructure. Sound Transit's planning to come down that, as well as there's been quite a bit of tribal trust land. This vital economic corridor does not have a clear vision, and it sort of is just, there's parts of our code that kind of say, well, whatever over there, we just don't worry about. And yet it's been a constant conversation for safety issues. It's one of our probably highest potential for economic and job growth. And so it was one of the areas that we had identified, like you said, for what's called a sub-area plan, where you just sort of get a much more in-depth plan for that area. And it starts with getting to know everybody. So ROC PM Services is the grant writing services that we had contracted with 2 years ago, last year. And so they had found this grant for us. It's specifically designed for an area that has job growth, economic development type potential. So they have prepared an application to request the planning grant funding. The grant will fund up to about $75,000 and does require a matching fund of up to 25%, which would be $18,750. The matching funds would come from our line item professional services, which is the funding land use uses right now to contract with consultants for land use services. The professional services has a budget line item of 100,000, so taking 18,750 is well within that. We do anticipate hiring a consultant to do the majority of the work. My first choice will be our on-call services that we have with Framework, but if we receive the grant, we will look at that time what makes the most sense. So in essence, what we would be doing, and I will say that CERB has two different types of grants. They have grants for the planning services, which is what we're going to be requesting. They also have larger grants if we identify that there are certain infrastructure requirements that would help businesses grow in an area, and if there's certain businesses that would be supportive of that, maybe teaming up with us. There is up to like, I think $1 million or $2 million that we might be able to apply for in the future to actually help with infrastructure improvements. So this is the first step with that. So the scope of work we were looking back, if you look on page 18, is the areas sort of highlighted in purple. I have both the aerial and just the map, kind of gives you a feel of the area we would be looking at. What we would be doing is starting with an outreach program to meet with businesses and property owners and other stakeholders. Like I said, there's a lot of tribal trust land, so we would reach out to see if the tribe would want to be involved with some of our conversations, but really hearing from those members that are in that area, as well as residents as a whole, to get a feel of what challenges and opportunities are there for that area. We would draft an existing conditions report, and that's going to be anything from development potential, infrastructure needs. We know that there's some culverts that are probably not up to what it needs to be. It would include, again, if the funding comes through and we can, when we lay out the budget, I know it would be beneficial to have all of the Hylebos Creek wetlands areas outlined with buffers so that everybody's aware of where those are when people go to develop those properties. So those are all things that we can do. Again, figuring out what is there. And then we would draft the actual plan, which includes a vision statement that would have all that community input, the city objectives, goals, policies. It would recommend what businesses should go in that area. It would identify what infrastructure improvements are needed. Do we need zoning changes? Are there any estimated costs, potential funding sources? So in order to apply for this grant, it does require that the city council basically acknowledge that we are applying for the grant and are committing to that if we receive the funding that the city, that I have presented you, and the council is committed to the required matching funds. So with that, if there are any, or however, anyway, that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you. Councilmember Whalen.
Thank you for the presentation, and I appreciate it greatly. But
Councilmember Whalen,
Pardon?
we need to get a motion on the table first. Would you like to make a motion?
Well, I was trying to follow through with this sheet and so forth, and I was hoping to hear everything that was on this sheet and how it responded to the city, and I didn't quite hear that, so I had a few questions about the presentation. But
Okay, go.
I will make a motion to
All right.
reconsider.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion? Councilmember Mounts?
I move to approve the CERB grant application, and if approved, authorize the mayor to sign the funding agreement and commit the required matching funds.
Second.
I had a question.
Yes,
To wait for questions.
yes, we've got a motion on the table, so Councilmember Turnus. Oh, I'm sorry. It's been moved by Councilmember Mounts and seconded by Councilmember Hall to approve the CERB grant application, and if approved, authorize the mayor to sign the funding agreement and commit the required matching funds. Councilmember Mounts, would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you. I do have some questions, but I understand that this motion is just to apply for the grant and commit to the matching funds, and it doesn't necessarily determine the outcome of what that land will be used for. That's the planning, the grant to hire the planner, right?
Yeah, so the desire is to get a much better feel of what is out there. What do those property owners and businesses see? What does the city see of what that land should be? We know, like I said, we know that there's safety issues. We know that Sound Transit is coming through. We know that right now there's a mix of things. So the whole intent is to go in with first just saying, what is here? What are people thinking is challenging to have a business there? What would they like to see there? What are the staff? So you're going in with a lot of questions with the intent, and this would probably be a kind of a year-long process where we have public meetings with stakeholders, open to the public, encouraging people, so that we can figure out, does it make sense? You know, I can look at it and say, well, it seems to me we should maybe make this section, you know, my guess is it'll end up being different things for different sections of it. But this lets us go in and start figuring out how much of it is wetlands, how much is infrastructure, do we have the roads, what would need to be approved if we're letting warehouses or we're letting light manufacturing. So yes, it's kind of like we have all these questions. This is the money that helps us do that. And then as we go through towards the end, we would come up with goals and policies that say this is what we want it to be. And then we'd come back and start moving through changing the comp plan, changing the zoning to meet those visions and policies and goals.
Councilmember Hall, would you like to speak to your second?
Yes, so right now, what is the comp plan? Is it businesses? Is it?
What's the current area?
Yeah, because I tried to look, but
No, and it is, it's so, if you drive down, it's basically, if you drive down 99, it's in essence both sides of the street. There is one section that is houses, but that is actually all zoned commercial, and those people
yeah,
want it to be commercial. That was an interesting thing. When we went through the planning commission, we had actually we had reached out in that particular area. We'd sort of, it's kind of like the backs between 70th and 99. We had kind of said, hey, would you want to be residential? Because you're mostly residential. And actually they all were like, no, we want that value. We think it's valuable to stay. But it would be looking at that area a little bit more. You know, there's car dealerships, there's some warehouses, there's a lot of just truck parking, some of it legal, some of it not. We have the creek on the one side with wetlands. We have some hillsides on the other. Like I said, there is an RV park and a manufactured home park that are permanent kind of low income. So we want to look at making sure we don't displace. So it's just a real kind of hodgepodge of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why it just felt like when we were doing the full comprehensive plan, there was too much there to, you know, it's very easy to go, oh, we know what's on Uptown. We know what's downtown. We know what's in residential. But there is such a mix there that this would give us the time and the opportunity to dig in a lot better with the people over there. And also provide them, hopefully, connections with each other, build relationships with the city so that when they do need to do stuff, we also have a high level of compliance issues out there because they sort of don't think about talking to us before they do stuff.
and how would that money be used exactly?
So a lot of it would be probably hiring a consultant and and specialist sub-consultants. Like I said, ideally, we have an on-call already with Framework who already did our full comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
So that would probably be my first preference to sort of head up the project. Funding, and then the funding would be used, like I said, I really would love to see get a biologist, wetland specialist, and see if maybe we can figure out exactly what those wetlands are categorized, do all that work for these property owners, so then when they go to sell, there's a lot more security in that. There's also, like I said, we're gonna probably need to hire a lot of specialists to evaluate things. Some of the work we might, if we do any of the work in-house, we can bill towards that. My work will be able to bill. If operations are able to do some of the evaluations of streets and different sidewalks and stuff, we'll be able to bill that time. So it would be spread over those kind of ideas.
I like this. I like we're creating a plan for an area that's not well-defined and could be integrated into how we visualize Milton to be. So I appreciate that.
Councilmember Whalen.
Well, thank you very much. And I was trying to follow your presentation, which usually we read through with you as you go, and that wasn't executed tonight. And that would be more beneficial for a lot of us to understand the documentation you've given us. I've read it, I understand it. My concern is there on 99. We don't know what the hell it's going to look like, because rapid transit and so forth hasn't given us a final design to work to. Are we going to spend money for somebody to come and advise us where, how, when, why, and where the businesses are going to go when we don't even know where the hell they're going to go? How is this representative of the future when we don't know? Because the state's been very remiss in identifying and committing to what that's going to look like. I don't want to have somebody come and say, well, you can put in this type of business here and so forth, and then have the rapid transit take over that portion of the land. We don't know. So is this premature that we're spending money on things we don't even know if we're going to be able to accomplish, because the state has been remiss in totally identifying what the net result of their changes on 99 will be? We're in the fog. We don't know. So with that, I'm going to have a very hard time with even considering spending money on things that may be designed that may never be able to be there, because the state is governing over us as to what they're going to do with that property. So this is very confusing. And again, let me start again. Generally at council, we read through the entire page, and it gives us a little bit more understanding of what the verbiage in this paper is. And that wasn't executed with this representation to the council.
I guess I would,
I guess, just to let you know when I'm finished, it's frustrating. Now, thank you for whatever you can enlighten us on this.
I understand and I appreciate your questions. It actually we are both, Director Madden and I meet with Sound Transit multiple times a month. We've actually been in quite a few conversations and meetings where we're working with Department of Transportation, Sound Transit, Federal Way, ourselves, looking at this corridor, and have been working on things like frontage possibilities and different things. So in some ways, my feeling is that this is perfect timing, because one, Sound Transit needs to know what some of our desires are for frontage improvements and different things, so that if they are required to build those, we have those in plan. I would also say that this is a much more high level, where we are roughly aware of how self-transit is coming down, and what we would be looking at is not dictating specifically what business goes where, but we would be looking at what types of businesses does it make sense goes in this area. Should we be more light manufacturing? Should we allow warehouses? Should we not allow big trucks? All of this is really good timing from my perspective, because we have all these changes coming to that area. I know Director Madden wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo Planning Manager Stallnecker's point of view on that. I also see this as perfect timing as Sound Transit moves into that corridor. You know, right now, as we've discussed, we've got a hodgepodge of different entities out there. We need a common vision, and we need it shared with the residents out there. In 2025, at the end of 2025 last year, the board of Sound Transit, they define their preferred alternative as going down 99. Now, where exactly on what side of the road is, I think we're about 95% there. There's not a lot of room to make changes to the design layout because of how far in advance those curves need to be directed for high-speed transit. So we know approximately where that guide rail is going to go. It's going to go right down 99. So now, from my perspective and working with Angeli, we feel it's perfect timing to really get in there, define what we want that corridor to be 5 years from now. Because Sound Transit is going to start construction in 2028, and by 2028, if we go through this process, we could have a very thorough understanding of what that corridor will be to the city of Milton moving forward. And that's why I feel like the two align. I just wanted to give my perspective.
So what you've just spoken to and about, we've not been privileged to as to where, how exactly. We've been talked to, but we haven't been privileged to how that's going to play out. Can you provide that to us?
We
Why
can,
why would we not be able to see that?
I understand what you're saying. Sound Transit is very, somewhat protective of that on a staff-to-staff level. That's where the design and planning is. They're not projecting out to city councils until they have the exact corridor, all the land acquired, if any of that needs to take place. And so they're not coming and they're not going to roll out speculative plans or things that are not 100%. And that's why you haven't seen those layouts that Angeli and I have seen. And we saw it, last month. We're not talking about we've been privy to this for 6 months. It's really starting to come together. We've gone through a series of workshops with the interested parties, and we've come up with a preferred street design. And that really was our first kind of concrete piece of collaboration that we've come to with Sound Transit and WashDOT. Now we know what that street is going to look like. We want sidewalks on both sides. We want shared use path. Now it's time to start looking at what businesses are going to surround that corridor. And that's what this plan would do.
Greatly appreciate that. But I've heard the same language for the last 20 years on what's happening on 99 with no confirmed vision. No confirmed vision for the city, for the council, for the
Yes.
citizens to see. It's just been a fog.
And the hope of this plan would be to provide that vision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Turnus.
So it is my understanding that part of this, that we're asking for a grant to develop is tribal land. And as an enrolled tribal member, I know that we wouldn't be able to do anything unless that was approved. Has anybody spoken to the tribe regarding this?
So you're correct. Any tribal trust land that is within the city of Milton, they don't go through us for planning or permits. They go through the tribe. And so my hope would be that we would, as part of this, is we would reach out and say, hey, we would like to, as we're planning our portions, we would like to see if they want to be involved in that. I have not done that at this time. We did reach out to them during our full comp plan, and we have it for specific sites because we provide the water and different in electric and different services to those properties. But on this particular thing, I have not. But that would be they would be a stakeholder that I would hope would participate that to see what their vision is and if that can, what things have gone in are very similar to Wetwar because it's such a great corridor. But yes, it is, the plan would be to reach out and hope that they are able to participate in that.
So would you have to reshift the whole plans if they say that so if we approve the money for the grant and then they come in and say they don't want to partner with us, does that just throw everything out then?
No, because we would be planning for the properties that are non-tribal trust properties. So, and we would be planning for the roads and the infrastructure and all of that is all under the purview of Milton. The only time it isn't is if it's, there are certain parcels that are tribal trust. And I know that there is a comprehensive plan. I haven't seen the final one, but I know the tribe works on one similar to what we do. And so the hope is that, if they want to partner, we would be happy to. Either way, we need to plan for our stuff. So that would be
And then I also had a concern with environmental impact between the wetlands and that Hylabos Creek, how that would impact that. I mean, if they're going to go in and just put a bunch of concrete in there, or are they going to actually design it to be able to maintain that environmental safekeeping place to keep the river or the creek flowing and the natural habitat that's there where it's not interrupted or displaced
Are you in
as well.
reference to this, the plan as the whole, or Sound Traffic Transit specifically?
The plan here where it says the area contains wetlands and the West Hylabos Creek.
Yeah. So part of what I'm hoping to do is, with the funding, is to help identify where those wetlands are, what the buffers are. We have a critical areas plan that is approved by the state. So yes, we protect wetlands, we protect the creek. There's buffers that's required depending on the level. They have to go through, the same mitigation as everyone else. So the priority is to protect the wetlands. The priority is to, and like I said, there's a whole section of our code that dictates that. There's also a separate document that protects both the creeks and shorelines and stuff. So no, the idea would be to identify where those are so that we're ensuring that they are protected and that, like I said, there's culverts I know that need to be improved. And so sometimes we have businesses who keep trying to sell property that when they come talk to us, we say, we're pretty sure you're not going to be able to do very much because there's wetlands there, but they have to go hire people, and sometimes that is not a value to them. Or if we can have maybe a consistent plan that says, hey, we have identified this is the areas that are protected, and maybe even a plan of how we're, again, it's the idea of to take a holistic look at that whole area, both from an economic standpoint, protection standpoint, making sure we're not displacing the few residents that are there. So that's in the infrastructure. So the hope is to, instead of piecemeal, which is what we're doing right now, is to come up with that holistic and best we can for everybody.
Thank you.
Councilmember Poor.
Thank you, Mayor. I was wondering, so this is to submit the application for the 75,000, and then if that was to happen, we would have to commit the matching 18,750. Is it possible that we could submit the application and then revisit whether we want to for sure do it later? Because I know that timelines can be hard with grants and whatnot, so you kind of have to submit probably before you want to do it. Is it possible to do the first two sections, but then table that for later, whether we actually commit to it?
I mean, theoretically, if we get issued a grant and we decide that at the last minute we don't want it, then we just don't do the final paperwork. But in this case, the idea is that they want to say, if you're going to apply for this, they want to know that you have committed the funds to it so that they're not going through all of their effort to grant it to us. And they want to make sure that we've gone through our effort to make this plan. So, and I guess in this case, I'm not sure why we wouldn't take it. The amount that we have to pay is already, I don't have to, we already have a line that has that amount of money budgeted. It's something that is in our overall policies to do. So, like I said, there's always, if you don't, most grants, if you choose not to do it, if something comes up, I don't know, somebody gives us something else, then you don't necessarily have to take it. But I do believe at this point, the point of this is to say, yes, we've looked through it, we like the idea of the grant, and we're committing to it and the funds.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Councilmember Whalen?
Thank you. Does this also include the roundabout that has been discussed at council somewhere along 99? And I'm not talking about the roundabout north of the city, but within the city. Does that encompass this?
Not specifically, but our meetings with the Department of Transportation our workshops that we've done with Department of Transportation and with Sound Transit. Department of Transportation's, they have outlined certain areas that may have roundabouts at some point in the future. So we would probably consider that based on their direction of what they're planning. So again, it would make sense to incorporate what they're thinking there might be. And there are 2 or 3 spots within Milton that if those intersections need to be updated to a certain point, a roundabout would be required.
But just to consider that, where and how do we develop? You can't develop with not knowing where you're going to put a large roundabout.
Yeah,
You
and
need-
like I said,
You need to know that. And
yes, we would.
go ahead.
We would acknowledge that, and the department, our workshops with Sound Transit and the Department of Transportation, DOT has specifically identified where they are. So we're aware of where they want those roundabouts to be, and yes, we would incorporate those in our plan.
And I ask all these questions because originally, this transit was to ride alongside of 99 Highway. 23 years ago, that's where the vision showed. It didn't show visual impact or impact within the grounds in the city of Milton, other than I-5. Now we're considering all other certain things. We don't even know where the transit's going to come down 99. Is it going to be on the west side? Is it going to be on the east side? Where does it transit from Federal Way into Milton? And how does it even get off of 99, back to I-5, back down to 5? There's so many things that are involved with that, and what lands are going to be affected and so forth. So developing a development plan for the particular area is just wishful thinking. I don't see hiring somebody to advise us where things could go, how we should live on this and so forth, when we don't even know where that rapid transit is going to go. I think we were just a little bit early. And again, 23 years ago, this was discussed, and 23 years later, we don't even know what the hell it's going to look like. Excuse my language, but it's appropriate. And the other side,
Yeah, sure. I understand that. So we've identified, we've sat in those meetings with WashDOT, the city of Milton. WashDOT has 3 roundabouts identified on that 99 corridor. What they have asked Sound Transit to do, and what we would also do as part of this process, we would just acknowledge where WashDOT would like those roundabouts. And the terminology that WashDOT enjoys is that we would not preclude them from building those roundabouts in the future. And you're right, a roundabout will absolutely impact business, and so that would be one of the things that would be, analyzed in this process. What communities are good around roundabouts? Are any good? What type of businesses fare well? And so that's how we would consider the roundabout. But none of this funding would go to, I guess, design or promote a roundabout. It would just acknowledge that one may come in the future.
the basic bottom line is wherever they want it, they're going to put it. It's not going to be up to us to say this is more advantageous for the city or not. They're going to tell us what's more advantageous for this rapid transit that, my opinion, is 23 years behind times. It should have been done. It should have been finished. But the tribal lands is sacred. They didn't account for that in the beginning. I don't know what they're going to try to account for now. I just want to be sure that we're not spending money on dreams that we're going to find out from other entities who's involved with this that we can't do it.
Right.
I don't want to spend money on wish it was like this, but we can't do it. So I'm going to be very reluctant to approve this.
All right, any further questions? No. Okay. All right, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Councilmember Turnus.
So there's definitely a lot of branches on this as well. But so I just want to clarify. So we, as the city of Milton, would be spending $18,000 in some sense, and they would be contributing the 75,000. And as just far as, you know, you can't even buy a car for 18,000. So in the big picture of thing, even if they were to develop a little area or parcel on some of this big picture blueprint, I feel like 18,000 actually is a really good deal in order to be able to get the other 75,000. I think that, me personally, I would just want to know, like, we need to address each piece of the different parcels of the land. But like I said, I think an $18,750 investment to get a $75,000, you know, match is really, that's huge. That's a gift. So there is a lot of undevelopment down there that I just know as property owners that it would be advantageous to them to have something worthwhile as far as resale to more than what there is now with just what is there. So, thank you.
All right. This is an action item. Are there any comments from the public? Seeing none. It's been moved by Councilmember Mounts and seconded by Councilmember Hall to approve the CERB grant application, and if approved, authorize the mayor to sign the funding agreement and commit the required matching funds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed.
Okay, motion passes 4-2.
4-2.
4-2. The next item on the agenda is item 6B on page 21 of your packet. It's the Forged Fiber 37 LLC franchise agreement discussion. And also, we have one of Forged Fiber's representatives here in the event that anyone has questions, Greg Bush. And looks like Public Works Director Madden is going to tell us about this item.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The item before you tonight is a discussion item. It will be coming back to you during the first meeting in March. The document and the agreement that you'll be reviewing has been vetted through our legal department and the Public Works Contracting Department and meets all of the state statutes. So the issue before us tonight for discussion is Forged Fiber 37 LLC is an indirect AT&T subsidiary acquiring Lumen Technology fiber internet cables and facilities currently in the right-of-way. So Forge will be coming in, they'll be acquiring Lumen's infrastructure. Previously was CenturyLink. So Forge Fiber will be taking those on. They intend to build additional fiber optic cable facilities and large-scale expansion, integration, and infrastructure. Forge Fiber has submitted the franchise application required under Section 12.05.070, the Milton Municipal Code, and pursuant to RCW 35A 47.040, City Council has the authority to grant franchise agreements for the use of its public streets and other right-of-ways. The agreement does not grant Forge Fiber the right to start working in our right-of-ways. They will still need to go through the street work permit process. Are there any questions? This is a discussion item.
Yeah, any questions for, yes, Councilmember Mounts.
Do you want me to address those to you or to the?
Yes, I will also say that we have an individual here from Forge Fiber 37, Greg Bush, and if we have any technical questions, I'd be happy to bring Greg up.
If I keep it general, when I went through the packet, I kept reading terms that seemed very vague, like related facilities. I don't know what a related facility is. I wonder if there might be any wireless towers. Would that be a related facility? What all would this encompass? What kind of things would we realistically be opening ourselves up for? Would there be any permanent structures? There was some mention of, okay, if they have to build a concrete something, and I'm like, okay, is that going to be on private property that's within the right-of-way? I saw that there was 24-hour notice to be given, maybe a door hanger if they want to be on our private property. And I'm like, 24 hours, that doesn't even give us time to react and respond. I know that we just went through this with Easy Fiber, right? And so,
We've learned a lot of lessons. Yes.
and what is the relationship, between the two? I understand that Forged Fiber 37 LLC is a wholesaler. So if they're selling access to, are they laying new fiber optic cables and then selling the use of that cable to multiple other companies? I guess maybe a little bit more on the impact that it would have on private residents, and what does it look like when it's construction time?
Yes, wonderful questions. The answer to majority of them at this time is I don't know the details outside of nothing in this contract grants them the right to work on private property, nor does Easy have the right to work on private property. Right away is a certain area outside of the street paving area that is for public infrastructure. Many times people will landscape that as if it's private property. And when a franchisee encounters that during construction, they are required to restore back to existing condition. And so the way I picture this particular franchise agreement is that they are changing their name in some ways. We have a franchise agreement with Lumen. Forged Fiber is now taking over them, just like Lumen took over CenturyLink. They are a reputable company, and I don't believe they have any direct relationship with Easy outside of being a competitor. But I'd be happy to, if there's more detail on that. But yes, this contract only provides them the right to work within our right-of-ways. They still have to go through all the street work permits. We've got a pre-con with Easy tomorrow. I've got another one with another utility on Monday. We walk the sites. We look at any type of potential issue during construction at that time, and we work through them as a group. So,
And just to follow up, I read through the hierarchy of the company, and there is AT&T and wireless communications mentioned in that. So would this involve any wireless or any, there's a whole section on EMF radiation and hold harmless if somebody gets radiated, right? And I saw that clause in there, and I'm like, what is the potential impact of having that in there? Why is it in the contract? Is there going to be towers? I'll just say I don't want a tower in my neighborhood, right? And when I read that in the contract or in the proposal.
yes. So this would just be within the right-of-way, and no, there's no option for them to build a tower within the right-of-way. Everything has to be underground, so not even new telephone poles.
Thank you. There was something where there is existing overhead cables. Those would still be allowed if they're pre-existing. They'd be grandfathered in because they're purchasing an existing company.
Correct.
So,
But no new poles. And our goal overall is to continue to push utilities underground, just for resiliency.
thank you.
Any further questions? Councilmember Hall?
I have to tie Easy into this because, first of all, we need to know where Easy is in this. How far are they into finishing this project? Are they in the middle of it? Are they in the of it? Because I feel like our hands are full right now with Easy. City time, if I'm wrong, correct me. I mean, you got city time that you're working on. They have really went through the city but haven't completed a lot. A lot was weather, but I have many concerns about that. I have concerns about the right-of-way not being cleaned up as well as what I think we should demand, really. So can you speak to where we are there before we can even get to this
Absolutely.
One more.
Yeah.
Are they going to run new wire through all of the city like Easy did?
We would have to look at their build-out plan, which is not part of this franchise agreement. It's not required for them to bring that forward. So Easy, where are they? It's a little hard to determine. They have almost 20 miles that they're looking to install, and I would say that they're in that between 5 to 10% complete. So we've got a meeting with their directors tomorrow, which they are pitching an idea to expedite that, that we're open to reviewing. But, you know, I would say that Easy has a very aggressive, they're new to the region, they're very aggressive with their installation schedules, and there's room for error. Forge Fiber and Lumen are an established company, and I have not seen anything that would indicate that they want a 20-mile build-out within the city of Milton. So we do have, I just want to point council, because there's no decision tonight, but, you know, for discussion, council can deny a franchise request, and that language is in section 12.05.080 of our municipal code. And so there are approximately 9 different reasons that the city could reject that. We don't, my team, Public Works Contracting and Legal, do not see that Forge Fiber would not be able to beat this criteria. We feel like there's nothing that council currently has or that the city has that would encourage me to deny the request.
I have to put it out there. Our streets are old. We're ripping them up, going under. I saw what happened 13th. 10th has got some very questionable issues. I just want to make sure that we're doing what the residents want to. I know legally, yes. Is it possible we could finish Easy and then go to this one? Is it? How much time does your department have to watch Easy and the new company? I've seen you guys out there. I know you're working with them. I know you're physically there. So that's my concern is we want, and we want to have others because that's going to create competition. It's going to create competition. So we do want to have them. I think this is just a very difficult time right now.
Understood. Yeah, Anjali brings up a good point. Because these are existing lines, you know, currently under Lumen, that may, I don't know how that would impact customers if council determined not to grant a franchise agreement to Forge. But that is something I can follow up with legal, and when I bring it back in March, we can discuss that.
I appreciate you listening to me. I just
course.
want to make sure we're doing right for the city and right for our citizens, because I've heard a lot of pushback on what's happening, so.
Are there any other questions that the council would like my team to follow up on?
Councilmember Roberts?
So thank you, Mayor. I was looking at the application. So one of the questions asked, please provide a brief description of the services that are or will be offered or provided by the applicant over its facilities. So the second paragraph says the applicant intends to build additional fiber optic cable facilities in the city after acquisition has been completed and therefore asking the citywide rights under the agreement. The applicant does not have a scope or a schedule for the future construction project at this time. So what's concerning to me is just the fact that there's no scope or schedule for the future construction at that time. So kind of based on the concerns that Councilmember Hall had, there's really no way to understand what the effect, I guess, will be with the roads and the city in general. Because based on the wording here, it says asking for citywide rights. And excuse my ignorance here, but I don't know typically how it would be worded, because more or less based on how I'm reading it, it states that it's just kind of free-for-all, anywhere they want. And based on the lack of scope, to me, that's kind of contradictory there. So I was just curious if there was like a projected specific area that they'll be working on, the through fairs.
We have not been provided that yet, and typically we are not when I bring these franchise agreements forward. This is kind of the first step in the city choosing who they would like to grant a franchise with. And after that is when the vendor will start working with the city to look at routes, where they want to go. And then I would just say that all of our franchise agreements are citywide.
So is this wording very similar to what Easy Fiber more or less stated? Is everything fairly?
Yes,
Say that.
all of the
Okay.
wording in the contract are almost identical.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Councilmember Turnus.
So when we say yes to this, does that mean that they're going to be going in and taking out the old cable that is under there and putting in new fiber cables down there? Is that, my understanding is correct?
Go ahead. Yeah, please.
Good evening. I'm Greg Bush. I'm outside legal counsel for Forged Fiber 37 LLC. I'm with Bush Law Firm, and our offices are in Issaquah, Washington. So that I can answer specifically. So when AT&T created Forged Fiber 37, it's a subsidiary of AT&T. What AT&T purchased from Lumen was a specific portion of Lumen's assets in the right-of-way, which deals specifically with fiber optic cables. So existing Lumen customers, if you have voice over internet services, VoIP, or if you have copper telephone cables, a regular telephone service, you'll continue to stay with Lumen because that was left behind. So I hesitate to commit to specific cables you're looking at, because odds are if it's copper telephone cable or if it's services for VoIP, then that'll remain. We wouldn't actually own that.
Thank you.
Councilmember Mounds? Oh. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure you answered the question. She asked if you would be pulling Lumen's fiber optic cables and replacing them with new cables?
The specifically fiber optic cables that AT&T purchased and with Forged Fiber 37 LLC, those were the F2 portions of the fiber, which are the connection between where the fiber box is in the right-of-way and where it would go to the customer's house. So we would be intending to keep those and potentially add on to that particular scope. There are still some Lumen fiber assets in the right-of-way that connect to Lumen's facilities, but those are F1. It's a specific demarcation point that we bought it after.
So are the old cables outdated and you'd be replacing them with an updated fiber optic cable? I mean, if you're purchasing them, are you planning to replace them with something more current, or is fiber optic cable hasn't changed in 20 years and it's still the same as?
This is going to my personal experience, having attended a fiber splicing class. It has not changed. What might change is the technology being utilized through that fiber optic cables. So I can confirm I'm not aware of any plans to tear out the existing fiber optic facilities that we purchased. So I can confirm there's no plans for that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
Councilmember Poor? Did I see you asking? Okay. Councilmember Roberts?
So I don't think it's been established yet exactly what additional facilities there'll be. I understand there won't be any cell towers, but the vernacular of facilities, specifically, what does that entail?
So I helped write that language, so I can speak specifically to it. Facilities is a defined term, and it's enabling the function of the well, we don't have a network, we're just building the fiber. So it's anything that enables the signal to travel over the fiber. So it could be a repeater, it could be energizing the signal, it could be a vault cover. I hesitate to call it a catch-all, but if it enables the functioning of the fiber optic facilities, then those are related facilities.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Yes, Councilmember Turnus.
So we have this company, we have Easy Fiber that has already started their fiber optics in here. How many companies can come in and do this? Is there an amount that the city approves, or is it just each time a business applies for it, it comes through this process? But is there an end cap to it that, like Councilmember Hall stated, our roads aren't, what they're digging up isn't very, it's not, yeah. I just worry about, there again, what's going to happen to the land if it keeps getting dug up and redone.
So one of the items that the council needs to consider, and one of the reasons that we can decline a franchise agreement is D, under those 9 given terms, and that's the capacity of the right-of-way to accommodate additional facilities if the application is granted. So are right-of-ways saturated with other utilities? At this time, we feel that there's still room in the right-of-way. Yeah, and they would be, adding on to existing infrastructure, which is an added benefit also.
Thank you.
Any further questions? All right, this item will be coming back on the first meeting in March, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. All right. Moving on to item 6C, the confirmation of Finance Director Robeck, which is on page 71 of your packet. And this one is for me. Tonight, I am asking for your confirmation of Michelle Robeck as the City of Milton's Finance Director. She has served in this role on an interim basis, and I am requesting that we remove the interim title and make her appointment official as our permanent Finance Director. This will also support my decision to make Michelle a permanent member of my leadership team going forward. The Finance Director position is one of the most essential roles in our organization. This role is responsible for safeguarding the financial health of the city, ensuring transparency and accountability in our budgeting process, managing audits, and helping guide Milton's long-term financial plan. It is my honor this evening to recommend Michelle Robeck for this appointment. Michelle brings an exceptional background in municipal finance and accounting. She earned her bachelor's degree in business administration with an accounting concentration from the University of Washington, and she has been certified public accountant for over 20 years. Early in her career, Michelle served as an accountant and controller for multiple nonprofit organizations before beginning her public service career with the City of Puyallup in 2004. She served the City of Puyallup for 15 years as an accountant and financial analyst. During that time, she was also the annual audit liaison and was responsible for preparing the city's annual financial statements for a decade, work that requires precision, expertise, and an extraordinary level of trust. Michelle joined the City of Milton in 2019 as Finance Director, serving through 2023. Even after that period, she continued supporting Milton as an independent contractor from 2023 to 2024. Most recently, she has served as our interim Finance Director from 2024 to present, providing steady leadership and continuity during an important time for our city. In making this recommendation, I want to share that I have spoken with members of our senior leadership team, and they fully support this appointment. There is a strong sense of confidence across the organization in Michelle's ability to continue leading our finance department with professionalism and competence. On a personal level, I have had the opportunity to work closely with Michelle, and observe her professionalism over the past 4 years while serving as a council member. I have seen firsthand her dedication, her attention to detail, and her steady leadership. As mayor, I would be very pleased to have Michelle as a permanent member of my leadership team. The city of Milton would be fortunate to have someone of her experience, integrity, and capability serving in this role long-term. Therefore, council, I am respectfully requesting your approval of my appointment of Michelle Roback as finance director for the city of Milton. Thank you, and I would be happy to answer any questions. Councilmember Whalen.
My only question is, can I make a motion now to move on this?
Yes. Yes, you may.
Reason being, we've worked together a long time. I admire you greatly, and I've seen the positive things you do for the city of Milton. So I move to approve Mayor White's recommendation to confirm Michelle Rebecki as finance director for the city of Milton.
Second.
I heard Councilmember Hall first. All right, Councilmember Whalen, would you like to speak to your motion?
I encapsulated it slightly when I mentioned it, but you've done amazing things for the city. You're also a very approachable, comfortable, and direct conversationalist. And that's very important, especially in the finance side. Every side is very important. So I admire you greatly. Thank you.
Councilmember Hall, would you like to speak to your second?
You are amazing. I was here in the audience before you came and couldn't read the budget, didn't make sense. You came in, you have the patience, you can explain it in terminology that just makes sense. You're an honest, and I've appreciated everything you've done and what you will do. Thank you.
Any further comments? Councilmember Mounds?
I also just want to say thank you for teaching us as we come in as new council members and taking the time to walk us through. You definitely are approachable, very knowledgeable, and I thank you for your service.
Any further comments? Councilmember Roberts?
Just want to express everybody else's sentiment. Thank you for all you do. The short time I've been here, you've been extremely helpful, and I know you've done amazing things while you've been here, and that interim definitely needed to be removed, so thank you.
Any further comments? Seeing none, it's been moved by Councilmember Whalen and seconded by Councilmember Hall to approve my recommendation to confirm Michelle Roback as finance director for the city of Milton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, unanimous approval. All right. Fortunately for us, Michelle is introducing the next item, which is item 6D on page 73, which is the exempt policy, exempt employee policy.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The exempt employees personnel policy was discussed at the regular City Council meeting on January 20th, the Finance Committee meeting on January 28th, and the study session on February 9th. No changes have been made to this policy since the last presentation on February 9th. The previous modifications to the policy included updating some language, adding a longevity pay tier, revising the vacation leave accrual schedule to match the IBEW agreement, and adding sick leave compensation equivalent to the Police Guild agreement with a service requirement of 10 years.
I'd entertain a motion. Councilmember Mounds?
I move to approve the 2026 exempt employees personnel policy as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Mounds, would you like to speak to your motion?
Again, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to walk us through this line by line. You addressed all of our concerns during the Finance Committee meeting, and you came back with suggestions and things that we had talked about. You followed up in a very timely manner, and I'm happy to be the one to make the move, to bring it forward.
Thanks. Councilmember Whalen, would you like to speak to your second?
Well, thank you. Yes, and I would like to. What you bring to us, and always have, is easy to understand, respectful to our conversation or our questions and so forth. And you've been a great asset. You will continue to be a great asset to the city.
All right, is there any discussion on this item? Wonderful. This is an action item. Is there anyone in the audience? Yes, please.
Let me get the clock up.
When I was on council and before with planning and the events committee and other activities, it was like somebody didn't know Excel. Well, you shouldn't know Excel. It should be in the system that's put out by the state to do it, because Excel columns don't always add up if they don't do the right formulas. Oh, we saw that, didn't we? I didn't say that, did I? Thank you for coming and being here always. Thank you for reappointing her in a right way for her. It's not interim anymore. Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience want to speak on this item? Yes.
Jacqueline Whalen, Milton, Washington. Just wanted to thank staff and council for their willingness to dive into this a little more deeply and work through a process based on more data and working to make a more fair overall approach to the process of a finance package for our exempt employees. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. It has been moved by Councilmember Mounts and seconded by Councilmember Whalen to approve the 2026 exempt employee personnel policy as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All right, the last item on the agenda this evening is item 6E. Oh. Yeah, they never came, so there won't be 6F, which is on page 91 of your packet. And it is going to be a discussion about the study session meeting time. Councilmember Cedar had requested that we look into this item since he has taken on a new position that has required him to be in court during working hours. And so, or at least it has been the case this year so far. So just wanted to open this up for discussion to see when any of you, what time would work well with each of you, to see if we could come up with a new time that would be after working hours. Probably the earliest being 5:30. Yes, Councilmember Whalen.
I'm sorry, when you sit back, I can't hear you all the time.
Oh,
But
I'm sorry.
Working, study sessions in the, earlier in the day have been very successful for everybody in the confines of the council and the staff and so forth.
Yeah, and if council wants to keep it where it is, they can. But I just wanted to bring it to the forefront so that we could, so that you could discuss it and see if there might be a better time that would work for others. Because I know that there is another council member that also has a conflict.
I appreciate that, and I don't want any council member to miss anything. But I don't want to impact the staff more than, like we used to. here till, on the study session till 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock in the morning. And they have to take other time off to do it. So I'm open for either, but my preference is to remain as we do with the mid-afternoon study session.
Councilmember Roberts?
I'm not going to make a suggestion for a time per se, but rather, how would that affect staff with a later time? What would be a preference for staff? So for example, say we had a 5:30, how's that impacting you guys?
Originally, they were at 7, so 4 was nice, but, obviously, we're here to help the council. If it was 5:30, it still would be better than 7, but, so we're all comfortable with whatever council feels would be appropriate, obviously, because it's a study session. Yeah.
Yes, Council, do you want to continue?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up. So Councilmember Cedar and whatever other individual brought this up, I feel Tim Cedar should be present just for this conversation based on the fact that it seems like he's the one of the driving factors behind this.
And unfortunately, he was planning to be here tonight until work intervened, and so he's unfortunately out of the area today, returning tomorrow, so.
Do you know what the latest he could make it?
5:30, he said would be a good time for him as well.
How about 6? Could we do 6?
That's up to you.
I mean, a little later would be good, because if I do have to commute from work to here, I couldn't do it. I have to take time off from work to get here. So, and I literally get off at 3:30 and I'm down here at 4. So it's sometimes hard to convert from my job and during the day to this one. But how about, would 6 work for everybody? We know it'll work for Tim. Will it work for staff, or would 5:30, even 5:30?
Councilmember Turnus?
So I'm in school in Kirkland until 4 PM, and so you never know how long it's going to take to get from Kirkland to Milton. So 6 o'clock would definitely be great, but I know that that's a long day for the staff to have to wait, but I could probably be here by 5:30.
How about you, 5:30?
Councilmember Whalen?
5:30, 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock, it's all good for me.
Not 11 o'clock, please.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, how about we just, we start with Councilmember Whalen, and what time would you like to suggest?
6 o'clock.
Okay? Councilmember,
I'm good with 5:30 or 6, whatever people
okay?
want.
Councilmember Poor?
I'd probably prefer the 5:30.
Okay. Councilmember Mounts? 5:30. Councilmember Turnus?
5:30 or 6 is great.
Okay. Councilmember Roberts?
More towards 6 o'clock.
Okay, great.
5:45.
Well, how about we have staff break the tie? Any feedback from staff about whether 5:30 or 6 o'clock makes a difference to any of you?
I don't think it makes a difference. If it creates some reassurance and additional time for people to get down here, I think 6 is fine. I don't want to get in too much trouble by my counterparts, but yes.
Yes, Councilmember Mounts.
Are you guys able to adjust your hours so you can come in later in the morning to be here?
Yes.
And, so we're not forcing overtime on you? Okay, thank you.
6
So
o'clock?
how about 6 o'clock then? Do we? So do we? Okay, so we'll update the council rules, and then the council will vote to approve of those rules at the next meeting. All right? Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is council reports. Councilmember Roberts, let's start with you today.
Thank you, Mayor. So last Thursday, I attended the PIC meeting, which is the Public Issues Committee. So it's part of the Sound Cities Association. So I have a packet here that they've been, that they're going to start distributing after every meeting after the month. So this gives a quick synopsis, kind of explanation of things that happened and what was on the agenda. So I do urge everybody to take a look at it. There's some links to presentations. All you need to do is go to the actual website and then select the links, because you're able to look up the hot sheet as well on the SCA website. So again, I do urge everybody to take a look at that information, and that is it.
All right, Councilmember Turnus?
I attended the 31st LD PCO meeting up in Bonnie Lake on Thursday night, and it was just great to have connection. Sharon Hannock, who's kind of was stewarding it, David Bryant wasn't there, but it's just great to see so many people coming together in unity and just discussing what's going on in the different cities.
Thank you. Councilmember Mounts?
And Councilmember Turnus drugged me with her, and that was fun. And prior to the PIC meeting, there was a presentation regarding the presence of federal agents in our area, and that was very interesting and informative. So I'm learning, so being new to the council, I'm learning that there is like no end to meetings that are available for people with nothing else to do, right? Or keen interests. So I'm happy to learn that there's a lot of information out there.
Councilmember Poor?
I just wanted to thank everybody for their presentations, taking the time, and also for the presentations on the last study session. I just had a thought of, when we're making some of these decisions, it would be helpful if you guys, when you're presenting, could maybe say what are some reasons why we wouldn't do it. Just kind of, because I know a lot of times we're considering why to do it, but what maybe are some issues that we would be against it, if it would be a little bit helpful too. Thank you.
Councilmember Hall?
I see this postcard.
Yes.
And how does this talk? So this is for Milton only? The businesses is for Milton only, right?
Yes, that was something that the events committee put together.
Okay. And the events committee, is this to get donations? Is this, how's the events committee marry into this?
I believe they are wanting to use this event to get feedback from the business community on what the city is doing right and wrong. And also, they want, the representatives from the events committee want to also let business owners know what sponsorship opportunities are available and how they can better participate in the things that happen in our city.
How is the, okay. And then we also have the 5 Milton Edgewood Chamber that's for businesses. So are we trying to pull from that, or is this like
I don't believe so.
something completely different?
I just think that they are wanting to, and again, I'm new to this too, and I've been roped into it, so I'll tell you how it goes.
I have a couple concerns is events normally doesn't do this. I've never seen it happen, and I had to look in the code really quick when I got this tonight, and I don't see where that's in their agenda to do.
I know they do get sponsorships, do they not?
I think the mayor does. I don't
mayor does,
think
okay.
the events committee does.
Okay.
And I believe, because I just quickly looked, that all donations go through the mayor. They don't go through the events committee.
And I believe that would continue to be the case, but I think they're just reaching out to see what kind of support they can find within the community to know what additional things they could do.
Gotcha.
So-
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have a comment.
We'll be back to you. Yeah,
Did you have a question for?
No, go ahead.
yeah, Councilmember Whalen.
I like this. I got to get used to it, but I like it because I think every business in the city of Milton should know what our events are because a lot of their clientele are citizens of Milton and so forth. It's kind of a bold step forward, and I think it's worth a try. I think it's worth to see what can come from this. It's valuable. I have to apologize for a little trepidation in my life and so forth. I look at agenda items, and I've looked at them for many years. And generally, the sponsor or whoever it's from generally looks at this and holds the first connection with it to the issue, discussion, and so forth. So we clarify what a lot of this is in the packet and so forth. And I like that, and I'd like to see us continue with that process. You know, not just to go talk about something on 3 pages away and so forth, but just to start. It kind of breaks the ice. It makes it more cordial. And especially for new folks to understand, it's better to hear the issue discussion from the creator and have an open there. Beyond that, I don't think I can add anything more other than we're not changing any of our committee meeting times, like the Public Safety Committee. I mean,
Not that I'm aware of,
we're good on
unless you
that.
want to have that discussion.
No, I actually think it's been the best time for that to happen and the most productive time that I've seen, having been on that committee for, well, since it was reinstated. I had heard somebody saying it might change, but it didn't come from anybody on the council.
Councilmember Turnus, did I see that you wanted to say something else?
Yes, I did. Well, were you finished?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, well, I think that it's a great conversation starter, and I'm just wondering why the city council wasn't invited to attend to be part of this.
Well, I suppose if you wanted to, you could come as well. We would need to know to create a public meeting out of it if more than 3 of you wanted to go.
Is this connected to the business meetings that's on the website? The meetings? There's going to be like 2 or 3 meetings? They're on the calendar.
2 of them are at City Hall, correct? One at the library.
2 or, yeah, one's at the
Are
library.
they public?
Yes.
Public's welcome. Okay, okay. Thank you.
If the council wanted to come, would we need to advertise a meeting? A public meeting?
If there's more than 3.
Okay, well, we can discuss that offline.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 of them, so just don't all go to the same one. Yes, yes.
I'm having a hard time when you two are talking towards one another, and I don't hear all of it. I don't hear
I
everything.
needed to attach this to my chest.
Yeah. Okay. We'd be better off with lapel pins than we would be with something like this.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Just trying to keep up with everybody.
No, I was just making an offhand remark that there are 3 meetings, so if the council wanted to come, if you could decide only no more than 3 go to any given time, then we wouldn't have to declare a special meeting. So something to consider.
I thought meetings, the VFW council, and sometimes I've seen 4 or 5 council members at that meeting. They're not managing it, they're just there to participate. I don't know if that's a state requirement that we can't have more, at a meeting like this, more than 3 council members.
Is it if you're not making decisions? I mean, if you are making decisions?
Well, we're not making decisions there.
No, no, just information kind of a meeting. I think, I don't know if it's going to be.
I'm not learned enough to, I'd have to check with that.
Well, you have your committee meetings and you only have 3
Yeah.
because you don't have a quorum.
Well, that's also because you don't vote in that meeting. You can't vote, the 3 at a particular meeting.
I'm pretty sure it also has to do with the
But
ability to
public
discuss
there is-
issues.
That public's not invited to those meetings because there's only 3 council members. There's no need to or requirement to do that. But I don't think there's it's prohibited that all council members go to somebody else's meeting. I think we could all go down to Fife if they had a meeting. But just look into it. I don't want anybody to get in trouble by doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, we will. And we'll get back to you. Councilmember Roberts, did I see something from you?
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's a quorum, my understanding is if you're speaking about town business in general, you need to have the public invited. So you don't have to vote on anything, just discussing town business.
Yeah, that's sort of what I thought as well. All right, I don't really have much this evening other than to recognize the fact that we have been designated a well city again this year. And what that does is AWC Trust provides our health insurance, is that correct? So AWC Trust members that earned the 2026 Well City Award receive a 2% premium discount on all medical premiums. So, and we've been given this designation for the last 3 years, is that true? So this.
Skipped a few years in between.
Okay, so the discount will be applied to 2027 premiums for active employees, spouses, and dependents as well. So thank you to all of the employees that do their wellness activities and give us all a discount. So with that, if
You gonna do this?
oh, yes. I thought I was going to get through this meeting without, yes, anyway, director reports, Planning Manager Stolnicker.
Sorry, I jumped the gun there. I just wanted to comment real quick. When we were having the discussion about franchise, there was some questions about wireless and towers and stuff. That is very regulated by the federal government. In 2023, we adopted new regulations. It's very strict of what we can and can't allow. The idea being that because everyone is using cell towers and wireless and internet and it's such a thing, there's limits of what we can do on that. But just to let you know that we do cover it, it's just in a different section. The federal government treats cable and lines in the ground different than they do wireless. We do have codes. If somebody wanted to do it, there's a whole process they would have to go through. And I would say too that they're doing less towers, they're doing more small stuff. That's the 5G and stuff. So if you have more questions on some of that, happy to explain it, but it is its own little entity.
Public Works Director Madden.
I just appreciate council's feedback tonight and the discussion regarding franchise agreements, and we'll bring it forth again in March with some more information.
And Finance Director Robeck.
Thank you for your kind thoughts and words tonight, but I don't have any other additional questions or comments.
All right. And Police Chief Hernandez.
Business as usual. If you see something, say something.
Okay. Oh, and now it's time for the mayor's report, but I guess we'll skip that tonight. Unless you want the same one again.
Oh.
So, all right. Seeing as all the agenda items have been concluded, I adjourn this meeting at 2:38. At 8:36 PM.